hockey time, you obviously have a lot of friends throughout when you play. But it's hard to keep in touch with every single one of them. And this particular team were emboldened champions. And you're gonna have that bond forever.
Back and scores! Shoots, scores! The countdown is on. 3, 2, 1, it's over!
It's special. It's special because it's been 10 years, but at the same token, it's been just yesterday too.
The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
You guys just let me know when you're ready.
All right, Roman, could you do one clap in front of your base? Rolling.
Any angle?
Rolling.
School.
That's up to them.
Camera two. School.
I like it.
Where am I at here?
Right there, yeah, you got it.
Was it gray?
Silver.
Did you bring your ring?
Nah,
Brad brought
I
his.
didn't.
I had it like my parents had it back home, and I'm like, maybe I'll bring it and wear it. I'm like, I haven't worn it in 10 years, so I thought it was kind of the time to do it. My fit's all right. It's a little big. I know Quickie sent me a photo and he had his like stuck on. He couldn't get it off, so he'll have his on, I think.
I was traded. I came in the off season and excited to be part of the Kings. One of the talked about teams that was kind of on their way up, going to be a top team, and clearly we struggled the first half of the season.
It's not all gravy the whole season, right? You're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs. It's how you come out of the downs that really shape your team.
I think midway through the season, a lot of us broadcasters would get together after games and talk. And I said, we may not even make the playoffs because we were not having a great season. And that's when they made those changes.
Big story, though, breaking in LA in the last hour, and that is the firing. The 5th NHL coach to go down so far this season, Terry Murray, dismissed from his position. The Kings, 12th in the Western Conference.
When Terry got let go, I think we had lost back-to-back home games and then went on the road to Boston. And he got let go in Boston, and I just remember Johnny came in, did the interim thing for a couple games, and we hired Darryl.
What I'm really excited about is I think he's in his prime. And I really believe the best is yet to come. So I guess without further ado, and the best kept secret, as you say, Darryl.
I mean, that was probably when things changed for us, quite honestly. When Darryl came in, it was a new voice, a different voice, a pretty demanding voice.
Quite honest, I felt they were very well coached. I thought Terry Murray had done a really good job of bringing them back to understanding what it meant to be a strong defensive team. I just thought the way the game was being played at that time, the game had to be a possession game. Once that became instilled in them, then away they went.
There's no excuses with Darryl. You push a guy down, you don't let him back up. That comes from Darryl. Where he's a all-out competitor at all times, and he wants to win everything, and that's the way you win.
The true evaluation of a coach is, does he make his players better? And I felt when Darryl got on board, everybody became better.
When Dean got Jeff Carter in the trade, it gave us, you think about Jeff Carter as a premier centerman in the NHL, he played right wing on that team. Dustin Penner, Mike Richards, and Jeff Carter were as good a line as there was in hockey.
Richards to the circle, Richards the king, score!
I think we clinched with like a game or two left in the season. It wasn't like we were sitting there waiting to play the playoffs. Like we were fighting for our lives from the January on. So it was playoff mode all the way through.
Did we know we had the group to win it all? I don't think we did, but once playoff starts, you just never know what can happen.
Vancouver and Los Angeles. Let's go Vancouver, LA, Jamie.
Vancouver in 6. I think that they've got the depth. Vancouver 5.
Vancouver in 6.
It really didn't matter who it was, because we knew we were just kind of sneaking in anyway. And the NHL is really a league where it can be anyone.
Just remember that first game in their building in a Canadian city, the President's Trophy. They had just fallen a game short of the Stanley Cup the year before. We didn't have anybody thinking we were going to win outside of that room.
You know, we played them in the playoffs a couple years before that, and they fed us our lunch. We knew it was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be a big test, but we had the guys to do it.
Richards goes to the left side. Richards by the Carter to Painter. He scores! Mitchell shoots, he scores!
We were so battle-tested because we had to treat every game like a playoff game just to get in the playoffs. And here's Vancouver that had an asterisk beside them, whether they were drinking umbrella drinks or whatever, but they weren't ready to go to battle the way we were ready to go to battle.
Feeds it down the right side to Richards. He scores! And here the Kings looking for another shorthander. It's Brown cutting in front. He shoots. He scores! Another shorthanded goal for Dustin Brown.
You knock somebody down, and just as they're about to get back up, you push them back down. You don't let them get all the way to their feet, and that's what we did. We won game 1, then we won game 2, and we just never let the team get back up to even terms with us.
Jonathan Quick and the Kings will go home tonight for games 3 and 4 in Los Angeles, up 2 games to none.
Game 3 was a special game for, I think, the entire organization, especially for myself, what I'm known for, probably.
On the right side is Burrows, tipped away from him. He has to get back outside.
Henrik's down, Bob, and he's having a difficult time getting up. He was run over, and it was right at the bench.
I saw it develop, so I was on the other side of Henrik, and knowing there's going to be some sort of a big hit coming. So I just wanted to make sure I was out of the way so Henrik didn't come crashing into me, because I get the worst of that one.
I know they say in karate when you go through the board, you punch through the board. Man, Dustin Brown hit through Henrik Sedin.
It was right at the bench, and now the Canucks go after Brown.
I didn't know in that moment it was a Sedin, and to this day I still don't know which one I hit. I've had hits where I crush a guy, but that hurt me a lot. That one, no. It was like I hit him, he went down, I didn't feel a thing. Got Kopia's first career NHL fight, maybe his only career NHL fight. I'm like, this was a good day.
Bob, I can't remember. I don't know. Has Andre Kopitar ever been in a scrap?
No, that's the one and only, thanks to Brownie.
Gotta save those hands there. Yeah, keep them working.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it much of a fight too, but I got a 5-minute major, and I'm taking it.
It's a fight.
The hit initially by Brown was not called. There was no call at all, and Henrik looked like he was shaken up.
When he hit Henrik, that really deflated them. Their team too, seeing their leader laying on the ice and couldn't get off the ice basically, and that kind of had that feeling like, we got you.
Out to the right side, Kings hold it in. Then a save, rebound, score! The puck came over on the left side to Dustin Brown.
I remember that game, we won 1-0. And at that point, people started to realize that we got a good team here.
Henrik plays it ahead, breakaway. Daniel in on goal. Daniel Dietz, save is made. Jonathan Quick robbing Daniel Sedin. Hamius races out to center ice. Had it knocked off his stick by Lewis. Picked up by the Kings. Stoll to the net. Shoots. Scores! Jared Stoll wins the series for the Kings.
You know, winning the first series 4-1, it gave us a few extra days just to kind of decompress. But then we had a couple of days to prepare too, to kind of ramp up the intensity again.
And I think we were on the bus going to the airport from Vancouver, and guys were happy, but nobody was, there wasn't anybody saying, okay, well, that's great. This is awesome, and now you're making off-season plans. No, it was, okay, we're probably going to get St. Louis. Let's figure out what we're going to do. Let's start game planning for that.
It should be physical, yeah. It's both teams that want it pretty bad, I think, and we'll find out pretty shortly.
I remember the first 10 minutes of that series, game 1, they were playing a different game than us. They were all over us.
To meet a team that was built similarly to us, like a big, heavy team with some skill, and their goaltending was very good that year as well. Our goaltending when Quickie was on was a lot better.
And I just remember vividly Quickie making 2 or 3 humongous saves, and then we came down and scored like a dinky little goal, like a crappy goal. From that moment on, it just, again, we just carved him up. shorthanded goals, power play goals, 4-on-4. Like, we beat them on every facet of the game. After that first 10 minutes, that series did not feel close. It might have been close, I don't remember the scores, but felt like we had a hold of that series the whole time.
We knew that if we could somehow sweep that series, that we can get like a few days off and not have to go back to St. Louis.
We were supposed to fly after the game had we lost, because we'd have to go out to Game 5, but I remember talking to a bunch of guys and nobody packed a bag.
Kopitar to Brown, empty net, in on goal, score!
In Game 4 of the sweep against St. Louis, Bob Miller and I went outside to get ready for the post-game show. And I could hear the building go crazy. And I knew we scored in the empty net. I knew, I was outside, but I could hear the building just shake.
I still to this day think that the building was the loudest after the empty net goal.
Really?
I got maybe a little bit too excited to where I like bear hugged him and jumped on him, so we both went down. Good thing nothing happened to both of us, but I was excited and it was loud.
To come out of that series with a sweep, it did start to feel a lot more real that the writing was on the wall, that we were really doing this.
We were just such a confident team, and it obviously kind of stemmed from our leaders and it went right through the lineup. It was more of a surprise when we wouldn't win a game.
In a best-of-7 series, you play one, you forget about it. You play another one, you forget about it, and you just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. And then when the other team has a little bit of doubt in their minds, that's when you can really pounce.
Same thing, people were not expecting us to do well. Again, like you said, we jump out to a 3-0 lead.
Again, drops it back, Kopitar back and scores! Out to Doughty, Doughty looking for a shooting lead, he scores!
I mean, even guys in the room are like, well, what the hell? It's a pretty unique situation where we just go up 3 Cobb on some pretty good teams, especially this time of year.
It was a feeling that I don't think that I've ever experienced in hockey or any sport. Like, we had just such confidence in our group, and we knew if we played our game plan the right way, we were going to win.
Shot to the net, safe rebound, score, hat-trick!
No one cared who got the credit. That's the identity that I feel 2012. It was about guys that were willing to do whatever to all those cliches. They didn't care who had the goal. They didn't care if Quickie had a shot. They just cared about the win.
Delayed call. Here is King with it off the wall. Gets a shot. He scores! Runner is onside. It's picked up by Penner. Back inside. Rebound. Score!
Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, and Pens, they dominated that series. The confidence was, we knew it wasn't going to be me and Kopi every night, or it was going to be our whole group together. We'll find a way.
Extra move at the line. It's offside, and then Brown runs into him, and Roosevelt hurt. Yep, he is hurt.
I remember that one. It was at our blue line in overtime, and obviously they weren't too happy about it.
Roosevelt hurt. Yep, he is hurt. Ekman Larson and Dole both come over.
Probably a bigger moment for them than it was for us. It was an offside call. I hit them. They're mad. We line up for face-off and go score. Now they're really mad.
In front of Tampa Penner. He scores! Dustin Penner ends it in overtime, and the LA Kings are going to the Stanley Cup Final.
I remember there was something that Mike Smith had said one time right after the game, and I understand the emotions are pretty high, but he said I should be suspended for life, but hey, I don't regret it.
A lot of people are surprised at an 8th seed in the final. Are you surprised to be here?
No, I don't think we're surprised. We worked hard to get to this point.
You never know when you're going to get here or when you're going to come back again. So right now, I mean, everybody's really excited to get going, and I think it's obviously going to be fun.
Yeah, we got a great fan base. We got, they're very supportive and they're there for sure. But now that the Clippers and the Lakers are out and we're kind of the only show right now going. The Dodgers are obviously playing well too. But they love their hockey there, and I'm sure we've got a lot of new fans that are now enjoying the game of hockey and enjoying the Kings. And so be it. That's what it's all about. We'd like to make LA a Kingstown for a little bit, if not for a while.
think it's pretty safe to say this has been a Laker town for the last decade, and rightfully so. You know, they've won 5 championships, and since I've been here, or a little before I was here. And LA is one of those towns. If you want to get noticed, you got to win. I don't know. Stanley Cup's a special trophy. You kind of dream about this your whole life if you're a hockey player.
We had some players that were playing at extremely high levels, and then we had everyone else was playing really well. Fraz scored a goal in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. I don't know, what do you have, 3-4 goals all year?
Nolan with a puck, centers, Fraser scores! His first career playoff goal.
With Darryl coaching, he just let us play. And we weren't expected to score 100 goals, but we were expected to play hard and create energy, and as best we could play in the offensive zone. And to me, everything else was a bonus.
Carter gets it back, brings it into the slot, he shoots, and he scores! Jeff Carter wins the game in overtime!
I mean, the leadership in that room, obviously we can point to the guys with letters on their chests, Brownie, Kopi, and Greener, but it was pervasive from Willie Mitchell, Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, Jordan Nolan, Colin Fraser, Dwight King. Like, these are all consummate professionals who were at the top of their game, and everything clicked beautifully.
Front a shot, save, rebound, save is made, Brodeur on kick, score! And the Kings have opened up a 4-0 lead here in the third period of Game 3.
There by Boyd, off to the back, Salvador, shot, put up, rebound, score! Clarkson got it back across, Henriquez, he scores! He's getting it, Kovalchuk, he scores! Ilya Kovalchuk into the empty net.
There comes certain times where you don't want to hear from the coach, you want to hear from the player. And we had just gone up 3-0 on Jersey. They had came back and won 2 straight games on us. It was coming to Game 6, and I just felt it was something that needed to be said by one of us on the team, just to kind of calm the juices and get everybody back to where we needed to be, because we were slowly letting them come back up to even terms. And the pressure comes when you either win or go home. We didn't have that. Game 6 was kind of the first time where it's like, hey, we really got to tighten this up here. We got to right this ship and make sure that we take care of business tonight, because nobody wants to go back for a Game 7.
Touch pass to Doughty. Doughty shot, tip, score! Dustin Brown!
We all didn't want to let each other down. There never had to be any calling anybody out, putting anybody on the spot. Darryl never did that. We never did that. It was just we just always found a way to overcome.
Brown holding, shot, score! King left wing, bowls his way down low to the net. King couldn't get a shot, loose puck, score! Trevor Lewis!
As a player, you're just focusing on what you got to do to be a better player. Every single day is just about getting better the next day, or helping, getting the team better. You're focused on a very specific thing, and that's just playing hockey. You feel the fans, but you don't think about it. And then as I retired, a lot of these stories come out, and then you start to realize, I had a big moment for me with the Sedin scoring the goal, a lot of iconic moments throughout these runs for a lot of different people. But then you start to realize that moment was, in my head, it was my moment, but for a lot of people, that's their moment.
People coming up to you and stopping you and making sure, they get your attention and they tell you that story. And they bring it up where they say, yeah, me and my dad watched every game. We were in tears at the end of it. It's something that it hits really hard, because that same moment means the world to me and to my friends. To be able to share that is special.
I remember looking back up over my shoulder and just seeing the fans, the tears in their eyes, just the emotion that had been building for 45 years for some of those fans. You can't replay that. It was just kind of like time stopped there for a split second.
All those years they had waited to see if it would ever happen. And they just had time to enjoy that kind of a lead and knowing this is going to win the cup.
This is for you, Kings fans, wherever you may be. All the frustration and disappointment of the past is gone. The 45-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
The Kings have been just pining for a championship team. Like, that's the feeling I've gotten from these stories, is you have some people that have been waiting 45 years, and then there's some people like, I'm 10, but my dad and me have been Kings fans my whole life. Because when I think about that run, I just think about those 20 guys, like what I share with them.
You know, it's such a special group, even 10 years later. The bond from winning championships is there forever, and it's something we talked about after that.
You just don't really realize how much some of these moments meant to people you don't even know and will never know. And you start to realize the impact sports can have on community.